is Saturday, April 11th, 7:57 a.m. Eastern Time. And I'm here again in the center of the aisle. My name is Brian, and I'm going to bring you some of the latest here for the Iran updates. And I'm not quite sure what to think about some of it still. First, let's put down what President Trump put out on Truth Social about 2 hours ago. Maybe it could have been a little bit longer ago, but it says, update, Iran can't fully reopen the Strait of Hormuz because it cannot locate or clear all the sea mines it deployed, according to the U.S. officials. Source, New York Times. Trump has been saying forever that he don't think there's any mines in there, number one. Number two, why can't they just route the boats up around that island like they're doing now? I mean, there are ships that are going through that's not getting blown up, so they obviously know how to get them through there. I think I find it as a bail tactic on Donald Trump. He's not wanting to admit the fact that they're holding him hostage with the Strait of Hormuz. He can't get any help with NATO. Well, not that I agree with the NATO issue. I'm fully 100% with Donald Trump on that. But as far as the Strait of Hormuz, it's BS in my mind. He's trying to get out of doing what he said he was going to do. He changes his mind. He's back and forth, and I don't know that he actually knows what he can do yet. I mean, he's got options, but he doesn't know if they're going to work. So we'll have to see what happens on the Strait of Hormuz, because it's still not where it should be, and they're in talks today. There was a video put out by somebody, reporter as OSINT Source Intel. What would be a good deal look like for you, asking Donald Trump? He said, no nuclear weapon, number one. You know, I think it's already been regime changed, but we have never said that as a criteria. No nuclear weapon, that's 99% of it. Pretty sure that the Strait of Hormuz is another part of it, bigger than 1%. Even if we don't get our energy or oil from there, it doesn't matter. We went in there and we bombed Iran, and now Iran's holding it hostage. I think we do have some responsibility, along with NATO, because they do get their oil from there, and the fact that we spend trillions of dollars every year to keep forces on their ground, especially in Europe, to keep them safe. The UK, that's a completely different ball game. Their economy stinks. They import 60% of their food. I mean, I can go on and on about the problems with the UK, and the fact that their prime minister thinks that they shouldn't have to do anything, and now they think they should. They don't. They do. I mean, he goes back and forth as much as Trump does, which is all politics, which is why I no longer side with Republican or Democrat. Nobody has the courage to stand up and say, hey, you know what? This is what's going on. We got to deal with it somehow. May not like it, but it's got to be done. So the reporter asked, Strait of, I think it's supposed to say Strait of Hormuz moves as well. He said, yeah, but that'll open up automatically. Yeah, the answer is yes, but the strait will open up. Well, it's not opened up yet. That's the problem. And there are countries that are starving for fuel, or I should say oil, energy. If we just left, the strait is going to otherwise, they make no money. So the strait's going to be open. But what we have is no nuclear weapon, but we'll open the strait anyway. Don't forget, we don't use the strait. Other countries use the strait, so we do have other countries coming up, and they'll help out. It took him bringing in Mark Rutte to have a closed-door meeting with him to get that done, if it's going to get done. I still see no help yet. And we'll talk more about Mark Rutte here in just a little bit, coming up towards the end, so don't leave, because this is... I sound like I'm an anti-Trump president person, and I'm not. I don't care for Trump, because I don't care how he goes about it. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not Republican, because I'm going to tout Trump here in just a little while. So stay with me on that one. He said, but we don't use it. It won't be easy. It won't be. I would say this. We will have that open fairly soon. He can't play his hand in the open. I get that. You don't tell your enemy what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, and how you're going to do it. I get that, 100%. It's still not open, Mr. Trump. Still not open. And here he is on Truth Social saying something completely different. Hormuz stars market. Donald Trump puts, great. All the tankers on the map below are empty VLCCs, 2 million barrel capacity each, currently heading for the U.S. Gulf Coast. They're coming to get oil from us. You can see them all right here. That's a great thing. That is a great thing. I hope it helps out the economy. I really do. I hope it helps relieve some of the strain on fuel costs for everybody. That is the main goal, is to get everybody back into an economy that is affordable, because right now at $4 a gallon, that's not affordable to most people. And then here he flip-flops back again. He says Iran's doing a very poor job, dishonorable some would say, of allowing oil to go through the Strait of Hormuz. That is not the agreement. I'm going to repeat this. That is not the agreement we have, President Donald J. Trump. So they have an agreement to open it up. And I remember when they went into the ceasefire, that was the main thing with the nuke. You cannot keep it held hostage in the Strait of Hormuz. You got to open it up. Free, clear, and safe. Immediately. Hasn't been done yet. Still hasn't been done. So we're waiting on negotiations. That's supposed to be happening today. This is a really good video I wanted to put down by Osen Technical. He said, this is all released footage of U.S. airstrikes on Iranian targets, sorted chronologically by the DoD reported data. Yeah, this is a really good video. It's 9 minutes long. I mean, it's got a lot of strikes on it, some really big ones too. So, anybody, you get a chance, you want to get some entertainment, this would be a good video to do it. It's on X. Visioneer breaking. U.S. intelligence indicates Iran still has thousands of ballistic missiles and could restore parts of its launch capabilities by recovering launchers from underground storage sites, despite repeated U.S.-Israel strikes throughout the war, according to Wall Street Journal, citing U.S. officials. While more than half of Iran's launchers are believed to have been destroyed, damaged, or trapped underground, U.S. officials assess that many could eventually be repaired or dug out. Some in Washington are concerned Tehran could use the current pause in fighting to rebuild elements of its missile arsenal, even as efforts continue to solidify the ceasefire and fully reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Okay, number one, I don't know how much I agree with this. There's some parts that's true for sure. But the Wall Street Journal, number one, isn't really a big fan of Trump, I don't believe. And anytime I see a report that's not giving names of somebody that said this, as in other words, somebody in Washington said this, I don't know that. U.S. intelligence, well, who? I don't know who's saying this, but cited by U.S. officials. Who's the U.S. official that said that? Well, they don't want to say that because it's probably a Democrat. People aren't stupid. They can link one and one together and say, oh, wait a minute, Wall Street Journal don't like Trump. Democrats don't like Trump. Let's get out there and make them look bad. It's politics. In situations like this, politics aren't needed. People don't want to hear all that. They want to know the truth. They want to know what's happening, and they have a right to. We pay a lot of money in taxes. We vote for these people to do a job. This isn't doing a job. This is another war radar. I haven't used this source too much, but the United States is rapidly reinforcing its military presence. U.S. officials told the Wall Street Journal that additional attacked aircraft have recently arrived with the U.S. Central Command CENTCOM area of responsibility. In the coming days, up to 2,000 troops from the elite 82nd Airborne Division are expected to deploy to the region alongside thousands of sailors and Marines. Meanwhile, the USS George H.W. Bush Carrier Strike Group and the 11th Marine Expeditionary Unit aboard the USS Boxer are heading toward the Middle East, with the arrival expected in about a week. The deployment signal and significant buildup of U.S. forces as regional tensions continue to rise. Again, Wall Street Journal. This was only 9 hours ago when I put this up, but it's been a while since I've put all this together, so I want you to listen to this. This is why I say the politics need to end, because the U.S. is playing politics just as much as Iran is when it comes to propaganda. Iran's message to U.S. ahead of Islamabad talks. This is from Falcon Updates HQ. If the U.S. comes with an America first approach, a deal is possible. This is Iran. But if Washington takes an Israel first line, Tehran says there will be no deal and the conflict will escalate. That's what it says. They're known for lying. Okay, back to Mark Rutte. CNN's Jake Tapper, when Trump threatened to kill the entire Iranian civilization, did that bother you as a diplomat? Mark Rutte says, well, you know what I always say when it comes to what leaders are saying, I'm not commenting on everything. What I want you to know is that I support President Trump. Supports him so much, he didn't have anybody from NATO help. He didn't stand up alongside Donald Trump and say, we have a responsibility to the United States of America and President Trump to help. We get energy from the Strait, and he has a lot of troops keeping Europe safe. He spends a lot of money every year from his taxpayers in the United States of America to keep us safe and to keep his troops here. So Mark Rutte kind of dug himself in a hole. Now he's just bubbling out with all the comments and compliments to Donald Trump and making a joke out of calling him daddy still. Trump didn't take that as a joke, I don't think. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte says that not all European nations live up to their commitment, and that he understands Trump's disappointed with that. Disappointed. He's going to be pulling troops out, buddy. He's moving them somewhere else that matters. He also says that he really admires Trump's leadership. I don't quite understand how he can admire Trump's leadership but not back it up. He thinks the world is a better, safer place because of President Trump, but yet does nothing to help. So that's we have nothing on the talks yet that I know of. I don't know what to say because I know Trump's talking. He's doing damage control. He doesn't want to put the Republicans in a bad position when it comes primary election time by having the economy look bad and everything that's going on. We're still at war, and this is the Republicans doing it. And I don't know that this is so popular anymore because it's starting to look like boots are going to have to be on the ground. Now, we need to be honest with everybody. If it takes place, there's going to be casualties most likely. This is war. We have a military for a purpose, not to lose people we have a military to fight for our freedom. And sometimes that takes boots on the ground. It doesn't have to be a never-ending war, but sometimes it takes boots on the ground. So with that, I am out.